Okay, we'll call the meeting in order. Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Westminster's Mayor and Common Council. Council meets here at City Hall on the second and fourth Mondays of every month. Please note that the council meetings, although open to the public here at City Hall, are also available and streamed live on the city's YouTube page, as well as the Community Media Center channel and website. And now we'll begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Yeah, I should say something like, don't forget to stay standing or something after the pledge, because everybody does it. That's their first time, if they're not used to coming. Okay, as a courtesy to everyone, please take a moment and silence your cell phones or any other electronic devices you might have that'll make noise during the meeting. Thank you. Copies of tonight's agenda and the entire information packet that the council will be using this evening are available online on the city's website. Copies of the agenda are also available here at the front of the room, although I think our city clerk has already made sure everybody has a copy that's attending this evening. We did not have any closed sessions that I'm aware of, right? That I need to talk about. No public hearings. We do have one special guest this evening. It's Ms. Heidi Regal, who's the Associate Vice President of Constituent Engagement at McDaniel College. We're fortunate that they send a representative to almost all of our meetings. Heidi, we're delighted to have you here this evening. Would you like to say anything?
Yes, thank you so much for always welcoming McDaniel College to the meetings. And I just wanted to remind everybody, you're probably very aware that today was the first day of the inaugural the City of Westminster McDaniel College internship program, where we had our, it's over Janter, that's what our students are in right now, where they are interning with city departments like Parks and Rec, they were in IT, social media, as well as budgeting. So we're hoping that you'll get to know some of our students through that. And then I also just wanted to remind people that spring is a very busy time for students who are looking at colleges to finalize their college choice. And we are excited to host students on campus, and these are big programs. So hopefully families will bring some business to Westminster during those weekends. And we have our Scholars on the Hill program the first weekend in February. And we have admitted student days on Saturday, March 2nd and Sunday, April 7th.
Fantastic. I also love your choice of shirt color for the meeting this evening. Wonderful. Great, thank you. Now we'll move on to approval of the minutes. I trust everyone had an opportunity to review them. So if I can get a motion to approve the minutes from December 11th, please.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Dayhuff with the motion. I believe, Ms. Gilbert, you had a second?
Sure, I'll second.
I thought I heard you. So all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and we will move on. We have the consent calendar up next. There's two items on the consent calendar. I'd like to have a motion to approve the consent calendar, please.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Gilbert with the motion, Mr. Huff with the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. And we'll move on to a report from the mayor. Madam Mayor.
Right, thank you. President Pro Tem Cavacho. I'm going to speak fast because he does have a gavel and is sitting to my right. I don't think he's afraid to use it. So I just want to take a moment to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope that 2024 has been off to an amazing start. We haven't met as a council for about a month since December 11th. And so there are just a few things to catch up on. First of all, I'd like to thank our wonderful downtown merchants. I had a fantastic holiday season shopping at all the downtown locations, drinking coffee at the coffee shops, visiting restaurants, and enjoying all the sights that the city had to offer over the holidays, especially those by rec and parks with the Santa, the lights in the city park, etc. Many of the merchants had shared that this holiday season was one of their best ones yet. And so I just want to say thank you to all the downtown merchants for being welcoming, participating in the holiday passport program, decorating your storefronts, offering holiday specials, and just being amazing partners with the city. And I hope that everyone got a break before they reopened for 2024. On December 14th, I presented a proclamation in honor of the Westminster Lions Club 83rd chapter night. This chapter has been serving the Westminster community for over 80 years. And during that evening, it turned out that I was a speaker as well as presenting a proclamation. But they rededicated their charter and we celebrated accordingly. And their event was held at the VFW in Pool Road. The city was quite quiet over the holiday period. And so I hope that all of our employees were able to take a break, enjoy some time with family and friends. And I'm incredibly grateful for all the employees that we have at the city. We all play an important role at the city, and we certainly couldn't do it without you. The city, we geared up and hit the ground running the first week of January. In fact, we had a pretty busy week last week, especially at the end. On Friday, January 5th, Westminster was host to the governor, lieutenant governor, and all the cabinet secretaries as the governor held his monthly cabinet meeting at Exploration Commons at the Westminster Carroll County Library branch. Council President Pecoraro and myself were able to meet with Governor Moore and Lieutenant Governor Miller for about 25 minutes that day to review the city's budget requests for the upcoming cycle. We were also honored to be included in the tour of Exploration Commons with the governor and lieutenant governor afterwards. After the tour concluded, I accompanied the governor on his visit to CCYSB. Council President Pecoraro went to the Arc with Lieutenant Governor Miller. Everyone I talked to throughout the day was so incredibly positive about Westminster and stated how much they enjoyed their day in Exploration Commons. I would also like to thank Andrea Bertzler, the Executive Director of Carroll County Public Libraries. She was absolutely a shining star that day. If you don't know Andrea, she was a phenomenal host for the events. And during the tour of Exploration Commons, her focus for the governor was accessibility for all people at the library. And that really came through in her comments. Okay. And then lastly, I just want to mention, because I watched the weather, we have a pretty big storm system moving into the area tomorrow. So we're going to experience quite a bit of rain, possibly 3 inches, maybe a little bit more, localized some high winds, and combined with the recent rain and a little bit of snow, we're expected to have trees down, localized flooding, and possible power outages. So please be prepared, stay safe, and thanks in advance to the attention and extra work that I'm sure will have to be put in by some city staff to deal with this weather event. And then just to wrap it up, we still have a good 6 weeks for some more snow potential. So stay hopeful. All right, thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll move on to reports from standing committees. We'll start off with the Arts Council, Mr. Dayhoff.
Thank you, Mr. President. I handed out a quick synopsis of some of the upcoming events at the Carroll Arts Center for January and for February. Last Friday, as part of the documentary series for January, there was a documentary on Leonard Cohen, and it was extremely well attended. And from what I'm hearing, the attendance at all of the events is up precipitously. So we're really excited about that. The strategic plan is moving forward. We have a draft of it before us, and hopefully we will be submitting that to the Maryland State Arts Council shortly. That facilitates a great deal of grants and other income coming into the city that we disperse to other artists and other artist initiatives. That's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff. Economic and Community Development Committee, Mr. Huff. Nothing to report this time. Thank you, Mr. Huff. Finance Committee, Mr. Pecoraro is not here, and we will not have a Personnel Committee meeting. Committee report either, as Mr. Pecoraro chairs that committee as well. Public Safety, I do have a brief report. I get that in front of me here. So on the 29th of December, officers located and arrested Anthony M. Vasquez after he stole merchandise from Dick's Sporting Goods store. Mr. Vasquez had multiple arrest warrants in New Jersey for similar offenses. Detectives obtained a search warrant for Mr. Vasquez's vehicle, where they discovered additional stolen property from other Westminster stores. After verifying these thefts, detectives obtained additional charges for Mr. Vasquez. And as has been the case many times over the years, Our detectives have ended up locking someone up that numerous other jurisdictions have frankly struggled to do so. So once again, Chief, thank you and congratulations on that. On the 5th of January, Officer Jared Harbath was sworn in as a lateral police officer with the police department. Actually, I had the opportunity to swear him in. That was great, especially because he's an Army veteran. Love that. Officer Horvath will attend 5 weeks of Maryland comparative compliance training at the Training Commission's facility in Sykesville before he starts his field training and patrol. Officer Horvath brings 7 years of municipal policing experience. We received 2 very nice letters. One for PFC O'Neill related to a traffic accident that he helped a lady that was involved in, and she took the time to handwrite a very nice letter thanking him for his wonderful actions during the accident. She said it was a horrible event, but he made it a lot better. And then also we received a letter from a House delegate member. I'm not going to say who because I'm not sure he wants it all being public, but he complimented PFC Ash and Sergeant Blackwell for their life-saving actions related to his brother who had a medical emergency and they saved his life. He ultimately did pass away, unfortunately, but they gave him extra time for his family to be able to be with him to say goodbye. And the delegate wrote in to make sure that we were aware of that and to thank them for their actions. So PFC Ash and Sergeant Blackwell, job well done. Thank you very much. That's all I have. We will move on to Public Works. Ms. Gilbert.
Public Works was prepared for winter weather this past weekend that I'm sure our employees are saying, "Ooh, we didn't have quite the storm we were expecting," but nonetheless, they were prepared, as they will be prepared for our water event that will be here in the next 24 hours. The Main Street Water Main Project Phase 1 and 2 are completed. The project will pause until the winter weather breaks in March. And the Streets Department is in cleanup and storage mode of all the holiday decorations that were around the city. And that's all I have for Public Works.
Ms. Gilbert, Recreation and Parks Committee, back to you, Ms. Gilbert.
There will be intermittent trail closures around or near the clubhouse during the week due to renovations of the clubhouse. So if you frequent the Wakefield Valley area, please pay attention and abide by the barricades due to that intermittent trail closure at Wakefield Valley. The Wrecking Crew Winter Ball is slated for January 20th at the Family Fitness Center. That is designed for folks 18 and older with special needs. The deadline to register is this Friday. And just check out all the different programs at the rec center since we have started a new year. And that's all I have for Parks and Rec.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gilbert. Technology Committee, Mr. Dayhoff.
Mr. President, I'm happy to report that we're continuing to move along with our parking app. I don't want to take away anything from Director Moore's report, but I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be a big help for downtown Westminster. And I'm also looking forward to some continued work on the overhaul of the city website. And we're also very excited about the city app that we're looking at creating. I think that's going to be a wonderful addition to bring in folks to downtown Westminster. That's my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dayhoff, and we'll continue with council comments. Mr. Dayhoff, you can start us off this evening.
The Downtown Business Association meeting was wonderful. It was extremely well attended. It was very, very informative. Many of the business owners that were in attendance approached me after the meeting to tell me how happy they were with the meeting. Hats off to everybody that was involved. And there were about 35 folks there. I was a business member of the Downtown Business Association many years ago, and I never recall having that many folks at a meeting. A lot of really great subjects were discussed. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of feedback, and it's just really good stuff. That's my report, Mr. President.
Great, thank you very much. Ms. Gilbert?
Just a couple comments. I attended the legislative breakfast last week with Delegate Rose, Tomlinson, Stamko, and Boucher, along with Senator Reedy and West. They all presented their concerns and expectations for the new session. I won't get in the weeds, but overall the theme was heard by all were concerns over a blueprint energy issues, cuts in public transportation, and a need to prioritize public safety. I, along with everyone else in the county, will look forward to seeing how that session shakes out. Also wanted to thank the mayor and the council president for being gracious and wonderful host to the governor on Friday afternoon. I was excited and pleased to meet with him also while at Youth Service Bureau. I believe the governor left Westminster understanding more how wonderful and unique our community services are, how important the county's partnerships are, and how impactful they are in the lives of our residents. And a reminder that tomorrow morning, the State of the County address is happening at the Carroll Arts Center at 8 a.m. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Gilbert. Mr. Huff.
So the only thing I would mention as chair of our intergovernmental relations committee is, as Ms. Gilbert mentioned, the legislative session is beginning on Wednesday. And our committee, which includes the mayor and council president, will be working with our lobbyists and city administrator to keep an eye on our different budget requests, but also different legislation that may impact us. This year, I'm also once again on the MML, so Maryland Municipal League Legislative Committee, which kind of obviously gives me real insight into some bills that might be coming down the way that could have a positive or negative impact on us. So I will be continuing to update you as the session moves forward during comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. I have no comments, so we'll move right on to ordinance and resolutions. We have one resolution this evening, resolution number 24-01, a resolution of the mayor and common council of Westminster, amending the city's general fee structure for governmental and property functions of the city with respect to fees charged for use of for use of the Westminster Municipal Pool, summer camps, and family fitness center. Director Gruber.
Good evening. In response to the city's recent investment in significant improvements to the Westminster Municipal Pool Complex, the 2024 minimum wage increase, and rising costs of materials and supplies, the resolution before you tonight reflects fee increases for pool usage, summer camp tuition, and family fitness center membership rates. The proposed fees will help defray the cost of improvements and offset the inflationary cost of operating public recreation facilities and services. I'm happy to go through the fees with you, but they were presented to you in your council packet and should be before you in Exhibit A to the resolution. So if you have any questions on those fees, I'd be happy to answer those. Otherwise, staff recommends that the mayor and council adopt resolution 2401, adjusting the pool fees, summer camp tuition rates, and family fitness center fees for the 2024 calendar year.
Thank you, Ms. Gruber. If I can get a motion on the resolution, please, then we can have some discussion if necessary.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Huff, I'm sorry, Mr. Day Huff with the motion. Second. And Mr. Huff with the second. Now that we have it moved, let's go ahead and discuss if necessary. Anyone have any comments related to it?
I have one question.
Mr. Huff.
When was the last time we revisited these fees? Has it been a while or?
So the Westminster Municipal Pool rates were amended last year, and the Family Fitness Center rates were raised in 2020.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Hearing no. Sorry?
No.
Hearing no other discussion, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor of passing resolution 24-1, please signify by saying aye.
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 The ayes have it. The resolution is passed. We have no unfinished business that's on the agenda. Does anyone have any unfinished business that I'm not aware of? Thank you. We have no new business on the agenda, so we will move directly on to departmental reports. Ms. Impulse.
Thank you, sir. As was mentioned, we have some interns from McDaniel that started this week. We're really excited about that opportunity. 4 gentlemen are working with the finance department, IT department, my office, and the recreation and parks department. And then we'll have a spring intern in the police department. So this meets one of the strategic planning goals of McDaniel. We were happy to assist in that, and the folks that we have received are very excited and are bringing a lot to the table. So I think this is going to be a valuable experience for both entities. And I'm hopeful that this turns into something that we don't, something else in the future moving forward. You may have noticed now that we're into January that the Public Works Department is starting to take down some of the Christmas decorations and the holiday decorations. I just want to remind everyone that the lights on Main Street, the lights that encompass the trees, will remain up and lit until March. And I think that's a really nice addition to get us through the doldrums of the winter and to maybe encourage people to continue to go downtown to visit the businesses downtown in what Councilmember Gilbert has named Winter on Main, right? Speaking of Public Works, you'll see our interim Public Works Director is out today, so I'm going to give the Public Works report regarding the snowstorm this weekend. We had 34 employees who worked 170 hours of overtime, making sure that the streets in Westminster were safe for everyone. We used 2,200 gallons of brine and I think 170 tons of salt, if I remember that correctly, over the course of 2 days. So thanks for all those employees who came in early and stayed late in order to keep all of us happy. We will move on to the Recreation and Parks Department. Ms. Gruber.
Yes, good evening. Councilmember Gilbert covered a lot of what I would like to report in on tonight. So the only other thing I'd like to do is remind everybody, if you've made a New Year's resolution for health and fitness, please don't forget that we have an amazing fitness center on 11 Longwell Avenue, just waiting to help you reach those goals. We've focused a lot of energy and effort the past couple of weeks and the month prior, deep cleaning, reorganizing our cardio floor and all of our fitness equipment that's available. We offer close to 60 group fitness classes a week. So there really truly is something for everyone at the Westminster Family Fitness Center, and we'd love to see you there. That concludes my report.
I find that ironic that you have cookies sitting right in front of you, talking about that. So that's for those of us that have chosen to make a resolution to stay back, right?
Have a cookie, join the fitness center.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the IT department. Director Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Good evening. Just a couple things. We are kicking off Park Mobile this month for the initial back-end work that's going to go into getting that working. So we've got that scheduled and we're going to be working towards getting that set up in the next month or two. We are also looking at parking enforcement option, getting that kind of in tandem so we can have those kind of come online at the same time. That's what our goal is. In addition to some security improvements behind the scenes, I know you all got an email this week in reference to that we're working on. A couple other projects in the works, but for the most part, I'll keep it brief. So that's my report. Unless you have any questions.
Hearing none, we'll move on to the Planning Department. Director Deep.
Thank you and good evening. Sorry, this has been a little long, so I apologize. The Board of Zoning Appeals January 2nd meeting was canceled. On January 3rd, the Historic District Commission discussed its implementation plan, preparations for the nation's 250th anniversary, and the February 24th Carroll County History Day. They also reviewed a pre-construction application for historic rehabilitation tax credit for 160 West Main Street to complete exterior improvements to the existing house and carriage house. This is the same property that obtained a special exception for a conversion dwelling just recently. They also reviewed a proposed demolition for the structure at 30 Carroll Street. This is currently in use by Shepherd staff. Shepherd staff is currently working on a Board of Zoning Appeals special application to allow community center use at the property and a site development plan to redevelop the site with a new building. The demolition permit has not been submitted at this time. On January 18th, the Planning and Zoning Commission is tentatively scheduled to hear a sign permit application for the new grocery outlet to be located at 200 Clifton Boulevard. This was a previous Bed Bath & Beyond location. The sign exceeds the 64 square feet of a sign to be approved by staff and requires commission approval. An amendment to site plan for Kenora Break located at 1 Arthur Peck Drive. This is now the headquarters of Kenora Break. They recently named that as the headquarters of Westminster. And this is to allow 2 temporary structures to store equipment. This is a manufacturing of brake systems and other safety equipment for light rail vehicles, metro, passenger, and high-speed trains. And there's an amendment to site plan for Abby's Place. This is the market rate 35-unit multifamily development located at 41 WTTR Lane. This is to allow for the stockpiling of dirt on site. And finally, I'd like to welcome Joe Atkins, our new planner. He is here. He's been here for 2 weeks to the city of Westminster. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Seeing no questions, we'll move on to the finance department. I'll give that report tonight. We're still underway with the audit and we're starting to prepare, believe it or not, for the fiscal year 25 budget. The intern for the finance department is helping to prepare those files to get us started on that. We will then move on to the housing department.
Thank you. Stephen, good evening. Just want to highlight a couple of things. One is, you may hear a lot of talk about government shutdown and funding cuts and so forth, but fortunately, it's not going to adversely affect our ability to provide housing for our clients. We get funded on a calendar basis, and we've already gotten our money for the first 2 months. So we good. The other thing I wanted to highlight is that as of December the 31st, we have leased up 291 of our 297 vouchers. We had 46 families where we ended their participation in the program in 2023. 4 of them left the program because they no longer needed our assistance for a continuous period of 6 months. So if they can sustain themselves and don't need our assistance for 6 months, we take them off the program. 12 left the program because they were deceased. 3 reported to Carroll County. 24 were terminated for program violations, and we had 3 that left the program for other reasons. One example being went into the nursing home on a permanent basis. In terms of code enforcement, the code enforcement staff in 2023 issued 185 violations. 46 of the violations were for weeds and rubbish. 8% of the violations were for tree trimming. 8% were for motor vehicles. 7% were issued violations for not having a rental license, and 31% were issued for mere or other violations. That's my report. I'll answer any questions that the council may have.
Ms. Ingalls, when you say motor vehicles, are you talking about untagged vehicles on the property, or what is it?
Well, it's basically there'll be untagged vehicles or operable vehicles that we find that are parked on the street. Yeah. And then we'll coordinate with the police department if some of them need to be towed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Brown. Hearing no other questions, we'll move on to the police department. Chief Lovell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As part of the 2022 legislative session, as to maintain our police certification, we have to attend a mental health assessment once every 2 years. So we've begun doing those. I attended mine at the end of December. Happy to say I'm still here. I was impressed with the session. I thought that met with the spirit of why the requirements in place. I was impressed with the logistics, and overall, I'm happy with that. We currently have multiple police officer applicants in background investigation. Several of those are certified lateral police applicants. We've got numerous entry-level applicants. Should we hire the entry-level applicants, they would start on March 4th Police Academy at the Maryland Police and Corrections Training Commission in Sykesville. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
It's a good thing I'm not on the job anymore, Chief. I might be in trouble.
We need you a special exception.
Hearing no questions for the chief, I would just like to extend everyone listening and those in the room a very happy new year. We're looking forward to a productive and peaceful 2024. That concludes the departmental reports.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to the final item on our agenda, which is citizens' comments. When we invite the public to address the mayor and council on any issues that pertain to tonight's agenda or any other city issues. For citizens not attending the public meeting, we invite you to send your comments or concerns via email to comments@westminstermd.gov. All comments received by email will be shared with the mayor and council. Commenters should include their address, name, and phone number with the comments. And we now invite comments from anyone present this evening. This is an opportunity for the public to share their thoughts and concerns with the mayor and council. Our role at this point is to listen to the comments and respond appropriately after consultation with staff and each other. Now, if there's anyone with us tonight that wishes to be heard, please give your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Peter Barrett, 31 West Main Street, Westminster, Maryland. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council, city leadership. My name is Peter Barrett, a resident of Westminster, last 5 years. I do come to you tonight with a complaint. Apologize about that. I will keep it brief. Before I lodge that complaint, I would like to offer some accolades. I grew up in Carroll County, moved away for service in the Marine Corps for a number of years, and I've come back to make this my home. Westminster is an up and coming town. The effort that this leadership is putting into the downtown community to create a sense of community, to foster businesses, create events is clearly demonstrated frequently. And I tell many people that this is a place you should think about buying property because it's up and coming. Just a quick background. I work from home. I'm a technical director for Federal Research Institute. That's right out on Main Street, which kind of brings us to our complaint, which is small, but it's the music. So the music is 60 hours a week, from 11 o'clock in the morning till 7, 8, or 9 o'clock at night, 7 days a week, 365 days a year without interruption. I use noise canceling headphones and white noise inside of my apartment to be able to get through the day. It is a good thing that you're playing music on Main Street. I don't want to say that we should do away with it in total. It's part of creating that community. It's part of supporting the businesses and folks being down there. However, I'm not sure that due consideration has been given to those of us that live on Main Street and have it day in and day out with a playlist that is pretty repetitive as well. So I know all of the songs, particularly the Christmas songs that was last year. So what I would ask, and my recommendation would be not to do away with music, because I think it is a good thing, but to see some reduction in the amount of time, maybe some days off, perhaps Sunday. We focus on the key hours that folks are using Main Street, happy hour type times, the like. And then lastly, I would like to see a little bit more variation in the music, maybe some Frank Sinatra on a rainy day as opposed to Bon Jovi and the like. So that's all I have. I do appreciate your time, and I do really appreciate all the work that everyone is putting in to make this town a great place to live. Thank you.
Mr. Barrett, we typically don't respond to someone when they comment. I'm not going to respond, but I am going to say thank you for the way in which you came and spoke this evening. Incredibly professional, and it's hard not to take what you have to say seriously, the way in which you comported yourself this evening. So thank you very much for that. We greatly appreciate it. It's not always the case when people come and speak to us.
I'm sure.
So thank you. And we will definitely take this under advisement. Okay, so if no one else has anything, we'll go ahead and conclude our next meeting. Our next regular meeting will be January 22nd. And with that, without any further objection, we are adjourned.
Except for 5.
Thanks, sir.
71, 73.
7:33. Penny, I think you beat the record.
I think we did it 2050.
Yeah, I think we have.